All right. So, what's up, everybody? It's Arbanaka. Dude, I've just realized how long it has been since I've actually been to YouTube. It's been like, what, almost 2 weeks? Yeah, I had a scheduling conflict. It was hard for me to actually get adjusted to the new schedule that I had. And then, so I'm going back to daytime now again. So hopefully I'll be able to make new videos. And then also I've been doing a lot of work behind the scene. I'm trying to have a new facelift for my channel, basically trying something new. So I've been working on that. But anyway, so I was driving, right? And I like, as I'm driving, I'm just listening to some podcasts. And then I started listening to Stephen Rose's roasting. Well, I wouldn't really say roasting, but yeah, fuck it, I'll say roasting. Yeah. A video made by Darius, and I thought that shit was hilarious. But let's see what these brothers got to have to say.
Now, Sarah believes. Give me some hair. Sarah believes she deserves Tyrone, who's a 10 out of 10. Let's say looks. He's accomplished everything he wants to in his life. He's grinded. He has his own home. He has a nice car. He has no debt. He makes $100,000 a year.
All right.
So you have Tyrone.
Fair enough.
Now, let's put 10 out of 10 here. That means looks as well.
All right.
S&B, sexual market value, looks, money, status. He's good to go here. Looks, money, status. He also is in shape. He works out at the gym.
You know that's a very rare stat you just gave out. Did you know that most men that are successful, especially billionaires, are actually under 5'5"? And not only that, but they're really not that good looking. Last time I remember Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, most of these men who are making successful money are not really that good looking.
Also, Stephen, you also have to understand confidence is what get guys the pussy in the first place. So then the whole process of fake it till you make it has been taken to a certain extent to where a lot of people actually start to believe their own bullshit. Where a guy could be like a 5 out of 10, but he believed himself to be 10 out of 10. Just like when you come across a lot of women that are single and they claim to be overqualified. So you have to understand like the modesty of people. It's almost, especially in the Western hemisphere, especially in the Western culture, it's almost non-existent. And their ego is, yeah. Oh, you have a whole bunch of guys walking around with a inflated ego. A whole bunch of people, men and women as well.
10. And that's without makeup.
Oh, she's average.
With makeup, we all know she can pump up to a 7 or 8 out of 10 with ease.
Okay.
And let's say she's overweight and she doesn't own a gym membership. So let's say she's a BBW, big, beautiful woman. Or let's just say she's overweight.
All right.
Okay? She's overweight. Now, this woman, Sarah here, she's a 4 out of 10. Let me circle it. And Tyrone here is a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
And her...
All right. What I'm trying to figure out is what are the qualifications for quality men and a quality woman? So, okay, you have a guy that's all right. So working, you're a hard worker. That's a good quality. That's one. Going out to the gym, you being healthy. That's two. I'm trying to come up with you know what? As the video is playing, I'm gonna see if I can actually write down like some of these freaking qualities that actually make a man 10 out of 10. Because so far, if you mention like 3 or 4 things, he got money, status, and looks. That's 3 out of 10 right there. What else? Where does the other 7 points come from? Because as far as the woman, And it's like, okay, she a big bitch. That's a negative. Um, and then what? She doesn't have her shit together. That's another negative. That's two minus. And then what else? What else you have to actually brings that would actually make her a 4 out of 10? Because if everything is like, let's say if everything is like 1 point, right? Oh fuck it, I'll be generous. 2 points. So if it's 2 points, then if Tyrone it's has the looks, the money, and the status, so that's why that's 6 out of 10 right there, right? And then Sarah, if you have to downgrade Sarah, you have, BBW, which is same thing as overweight, and it's also BBW and in debt. So that's four thing that's missing. That's 4 points out of her 10. So then she would also be a 6 out of 10. So now you understand why Sarah see herself as an equal Tyrone, because Sarah got two negative that brings her down to a 6 out of 10, and Tyrone has three positive that brings him up a 6 out of 10. So technically, both of these motherfuckers are equal, unless you have like a okay. What about logic? What about logic? Because if we're looking at money, right? If let's say money is a good quality, if we're looking at in the world, all right, how should I put this in a more understanding way? All right, put it this way, right? African American, if pussy was currency, if pussy was currency, African American men would be considered the strippers of the world. That means they'll be walking around with a whole bunch of folded singles with shit stained on them and talking about they got money. Have you ever come across strippers? They have like a nice car, a nice apartment, and all that shit, but they like in debt. So it's the same thing. We these men keep fucking around with these a bottom of the barrel type of female, but to them they're winning because they're getting pussy. And that's why every argument you have with African American male, the first go to insult is that you can't get laid. Because you have to ask yourself, right? You have to ask yourself, okay, why do you do the things that you do? So, for example, you getting money, is it because you have a certain dreams, you have a certain aspect in life you want to acquire, you want to reach, or or some dreams that you have, or you want to get money so you could actually have more pussy? Is money is nothing more but a bait. So if money, looks, you going to the gym to work out just so you could get the pussy, you try to get the status, the power, just so you could also get the pussy. So then everything that you do is for the affirmation of the pussy. So the reason why you keep fucking around, you keep going down to Sarah, is because Sarah is the only woman around that's still looking at you with that that's still looking at you with the praise, with the what you call it, with the validation that you're looking for. Because if true validation actually comes from within, you wouldn't worry about Sarah at all. You wouldn't even get desperate that much to the point where you actually have to seek validation from Sarah. It's not that if you were 10 out of 10, then technically you would be able to get higher quality woman. But higher quality woman can actually see all the facade, all the tangible that you place in front of them. So then your mouthpiece is not going to work. Your logic cannot defeat her emotion for you to get some pussy. So then you don't want to put that work. So what do? You just, slide down to Sarah's DM, posting up with your Instagram pictures of your shirt off, your nice car that, you paying like rent money for. That's $400-$500 a month. And then you have Yo, look at me. I got a nice, I got a nice job. Look at my paycheck. Look at all that. Or look at all the money I'm posing with on Instagram. So you stunting, but you have nothing else to offer. So the only women you actually will be able to get will be the 4 out of 10. The Sarah that's looking at you, that's easily impressed. A lot of these, this is the thing, right? A lot of these beautiful women, right? They are just as shallow as you are. So then, therefore, you have to now compete with, if you make $100,000 a year, a beautiful woman think that she deserves a guy that makes $500,000 a year. So it's a shallow against shallow. So then the only woman you can truly get is a Sarah, is a 4 out of 10, dude. So Tyrone, you're not a 10 out of 10 because mentally, you are poor. Mentally, you are bankrupt. So mentally, if you cannot play the, if you cannot get into a woman's mind, then doesn't matter how much money you have. Yeah, they will use the fuck out of you. Duh. But if you cannot get into her mind, you are poor. You are nothing. You are a Sarah. So that's why you get Sarah's. That's why you be sliding in Sarah's DM. Because deep down you don't deserve a quality woman. You deserve the bottom of the barrel. And you competing for the bottom of the barrel woman.
Mind, she believes she deserves Tyrone because what's between her legs and what the media tells her.
Just like in your mind, you believe you deserve a high tier woman because of the type of money you make. But what does a high tier class woman require from a man? Is it the money? I mean, if to be able to provide, you gotta be able to bring something to the table as far as money wise. Because a high tier woman, right? The woman that you guys be preaching about, the quote unquote good woman, requires a man that would actually be able to give her that security. Requires a man that's able to actually defeat her from a logical perspective. They require a whole lot of shit that your six pack, your looks, and your status cannot do for her. So the only people that can actually see you as a god is Sarah. And that also explains it too. That explains it perfectly. It explains it perfectly. Right? So a lot of these guys, a lot of these so-called Tyrone, they actually are competing with the Pookies in the Ray Race. Still. They're still competing with the Pookies in the Ray Ray because growing up, Pookies was getting all the pussy. Pookie was getting all the fine women. So then they cannot get the type of chick that Pookie used to get, because let's face it, Pookie Pookie hit the wall by the time he's like 25, because you serve a couple of jail sentences, and then you come out, you can't even provide, so he's sleeping on the chick's couch. So at the end of the day, Pookie's gonna be homeless sooner or later. So Pookie's reign only lasts till about mid-20s, and then shit start going downhill from there. So the fine women that Pookie used to get is about from high school till, let's say, about 25. And then the type of chick that Pookie used to get are now chasing after the so-called beta male, or the quote-unquote Mr. Nice Guy. But the problem is, the same way as the Pookie, these broads think that they deserve a high quality man. The same way now Tyrone think that she deserve a high quality woman, but he still has the mindset of a Pookie. That's why these guys, when they go overseas, right, they try to imitate the Pookie behavior. They talk like a loud African American, try to portray all the African American stereotype. So then these women now, they don't know any better. They don't know, like, to them, all black men look alike. So if you act like a Pookie, you talk like a Pookie, you act like a Pookie, you just sing a couple of rap songs and shit like that, they're like, oh my God, I guess it is what it is, like, African American. So you take on the African American stereotype and you imitate what Pookie supposed to represent. so you could get pussy overseas. And that works for a little while. That's why now everybody, that's why African American are mad now, because Africans are doing the exact same thing. They're imitating the pookie behavior, or quote unquote the African American stereotype, and now they get mad at that. They're like, you motherfuckers try to act like us. These are our pussies. What's wrong with y'all? All right, go ahead, Tyrone.
Okay.
Correct?
Correct.
She can go on dating app and any sort of guy who's a 10 out of 10 who's really attractive. Now, Tyrone, he wants to get laid.
All right.
Right? Men enjoy sex. That's what women do, but men enjoy it. So Tyrone wants to have sex. So a lot of times, Tyrone will get desperate sometimes. Even though he has looks, money, and status, he has his life together, he's in shape, great abs, etc., etc. What Tyrone will do is go seek any woman, and that woman is Sarah. Let's say on a dating app or out.
All right, so if Tyrone is actually acting on his lesser instinct, or base desire, that shows a guy that has no, I don't want to say control. Yeah, a guy that think with his dick. So then, therefore, can't be easily manipulated. So that's why. So that's a point from you now. If let's say we're going by 10 out of 10, right? Fuck it. Let's just say every quality is 1 point. So that already bring you down from a 9 out of 10, because you can't control your penis. You get desperate. You just now have to seek the validation of Sarah, because the dopamine, right? The dopamine that we have in our brain, it's not the act of getting pussy. It's not the act of getting pussy. It's the act that knowing you're about to get pussy. That's why, like a gambling addict, you know, it's just the high is when he hears the slot machine. It's like just the prospect of winning the lottery excites that person. That's why they keep, betting every dollar, so they can actually hopefully win on a horse game or horse race or dog race or something like that. So it's the same thing. So it's the prospect of Sarah gonna bend over and drop it down for you makes you feel like a winner. So then, therefore, you cannot get the high prize, so you're gonna settle down for a cheap win. Sarah gave me some pussy, so I'm winning. So that's the mentality. But knowing that, like, okay, because once you give Sarah some pussy, and now it's not that Sarah actually is expecting more commitment out of you. Part of that is true, because a lot of girls, they believe that once they give you some pussy, then you owe them, right? But the other aspect of that, again, is that the admiration that Sarah once had for you gonna start slipping away, because now the magic is lost. That's why a lot of guys cannot stay in a relationship, because they always want the woman to worship them, but not taking into consideration. But every time the woman challenges you, then you kind of lose a little bit of your manhood a little bit at a time. And if that's why, as a man, you constantly gotta strive for the better, because this bitch always gonna try to see if she can get one up on you. It's like, and the thing that sucks about it, it's not their fault. It's like they're not doing it intentionally. It's just these motherfuckers are like, they are born to fucking try to undermine our authority, just to see if we are still the men that they fell in love with all those years ago. And that's why it's hard for men to actually stay in a relationship, especially in the West, especially African American male, where their ego is so fucking big. So now, say that, for example, right? A chick finds you attractive and all this shit, and then once she's no longer impressed by the car, once she's no longer impressed by your six pack, once she's no longer impressed by your status, she sees you now as just a man, as just a regular dude. So then, what else do you have to wow her? What else do you have to actually still keep that admiration for you? You don't. Because if you have no goals, if you have no dreams, you have no aspiration, she doesn't see herself with you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. She doesn't even see that greatness that's gonna come and the role to which she's gonna play in that greatness. So then she starts to lose interest. Because yeah, it's cool. Let's put it this way, right? Let's say that you have a job, you're making $100,000 a year, right? But you have no prospect of actually no incentive to have this type of a venture, to take any sort of risk, whether it's financial risk, whether it's owning your own business, whether it's actually doing certain things that has a level of risk to it. So then your job, or should I say that relationship, just become mundane because you're not going anywhere. Oh yeah, sure, you acquired a good skill that you get paid, but every time you're gonna come home, you're gonna talk about the same old story about like, oh yeah, somebody pissed me off today, somebody did this, somebody. That's why a lot of relationships fail, because people, once they get to a certain place, they settle down. I'm not talking about like, but the thing about it though, a lot of these guys, right? Whether it's a black man, whether it's MGTOW, whatever the case may be, is that they, if we're really good when it comes to problem solving, right? We're really good when it comes to problem solving. That isn't the greatest mystery in the world, the greatest problem to be solved, to figure out, is women. And the thing about it is that most women have pretty much the same mechanism, right? They all start off with the white belt. The white belt, that's when they see you as the master, right? Like, oh wow, they're easily impressed by you, right? And then once she achieved white belt, right? So, let's say that she wanna, come under your wing. So she gave you some pussy as payment. Oh my God, I'm so impressed by you, black man. I want to learn what you have to offer me. And then, like, let's say 2, 3 months down the line, she start testing you more and more and more and more until she realized, like, man, look at this faggot ass nigga. He's full of shit. And that's what a lot of these men don't want to have to hear from these women. Because once these women get to know them, they realize, like, they're full of shit. The shallowness, when these guys, when you put them up to scrutiny, and then their world fall apart. Because truthfully, they're not, Tyrone's really not about nothing. Tyrone has simply acquired a skill that allow him, that is actually in demand to make money. So, which is good. As a provider, that's awesome. But no dream or no goal to aspire to do nothing more but an employee. A woman's looking for a boss. But if all you can be is an employee, then you are on equal footing, on equal ground. And this is where you lose it, because a woman that see herself as equal to you, gonna try to do everything that she can to fucking undermine you. Because remember, they have the chaos characteristic within them, the chaos aspect. That's why a lot of these women, they want a man to rule them, to rule them. So then, therefore, they can throw a little bitch fit, and then you put them in their fucking place. Be like, hey, don't fucking do that shit. To have the ability, to defeat them every time with your logic. If your logic fall apart by Sarah is then superior than you, Tyrone, because Sarah can actually knows that all she got to do is give you some pussy, and then you gonna do whatever she wants you to do within that moment, because you just want to get some pussy from her. Yeah, afterward, it might be harder for Sarah to duplicate the same trick, but at that moment, Sarah knows all she have to do is bend over and give you some pussy, and then you're gonna put some gas in her car. You probably might pay her phone bill for a little while. So Sarah knows what she can do with just a pussy. So Tyrone, your 10 out of 10 just got decreased. because you got defeated by a vagina. And a vagina, which you claim, that's below your standard. So you rather go below your standard just to get some punani. So no matter how much money you make, she knows she can get to you anytime she wants.
About and Sarah, remember, she's a 4 out of 10. And Sarah here wants companionship.
Like any woman would want with any man, but okay.
Or a relationship.
Fair enough.
Sarah wants a relationship. Tyrone wants sex. Now, what Sarah will do is spread her legs for Tyrone, and she would think that just because she has sex with Tyrone, that she deserves companionship. He's really Tyrone, and Tyrone, he's just trying to get laid. And any woman who's a 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10, they can sleep with men who are far better looking than them. So let's say she is a 4 out of 10, like she is a 4.
All right.
She doesn't want a man who's a 5 or a 6. She wants a man who's a 9 or a 10. So she'll bypass all the 4s and 5s and 6s, the man over here, just to get with that guy because she thinks she deserves it. But Tyrone knows that she's not attractive enough.
Darius made a good point. That is true. A lot of these women believe that they can, but it's the same thing with a lot of these men also believe that they deserve an Instagram model, but that is on sale. That's why they go to these places. That's why they go overseas to actually get those Instagram model, half off in a way. Let's say your dollar goes a long way. So, to this chick over there, $100, you look like you pimping because $100 you multiply that shit by like 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, so you could be king for that moment. It's the instant gratification. And Sarah knows that she doesn't deserve or 10. She knows she doesn't deserve one. Because truthfully, a 10, Tyrone is not a 10 either. Tyrone is shallow as fuck. Sarah thinks that, Tyrone is a 5 masquerading as a 10. The same way that Sarah is a 4 and a 5, but in her brain, she believed that she's a 10. So and then the more people that come to her DM, then the more she actually that boost up her. It's like, yeah, it's you injecting it's like a house of card. It's the sexual marketplace. You just pump it full of steroid. That's why social media does, which every like, with every heart, with every damn girl, I want to bend your ass over, all that shit. Because Sarah's a goofy bitch. She knows it. But she would be lying to herself. She continued to lie to herself until she believed that she's more than she thinks she is. The same way Tyrone know that he's an offy ass dude, but he's gonna continue to mask, put all the stuff around him, the 6-pack and the fucking like the nice car, all that shit, because it's like this, right? People with money don't always advertise it because they know that it's comes too much unwanted attention. That's why sometimes when you go to like a really rich neighborhood and stuff like that, you see like Honda Accords in the garages and all that shit, but the houses look gorgeous. But then when you go to the project, you see a whole bunch of like luxury cars, and the motherfuckers are renting. So then the people that are not what they say they are flashes the hardest, because they try to use all those tricks as like a little magic tricks in order to actually get, which is pussy, which is all they really want. It's pussy. So then, as a man who simply want pussy, then quality women are not gonna go for you because quality women want more than just dick. I mean, yeah, they would, having a good dick in the relationship is a bonus, but they're looking for companionship, they're looking for a relationship, and they're looking for all these things. And so that's why you're gonna bypass all these women because these are the true 8 and 9 and 10. You're gonna bypass them because your trick is not gonna work for them. But your trick will work on Sarah though. You know why? Because Sarah is just as shallow as you are, Tyrone. That's why you keep sliding in Sarah's DM. Because you know deep down you cannot get an 8 or 9 or 10. And even if you're basing it on looks alone, you still cannot get a 8 or 9 or 10 because because these women now have higher fish to fry. So if you have like to compete with like 100 or 200 motherfuckers sliding in their DM, a chick that's like based on looks alone is an 8 or 9 or 10, then your little $100,000 a check or your looks or your six pack is not gonna cut it because she's seen it all. She's seen 100 Tyrone sliding in her DM. Sarah probably see like 10, 15, 20 Tyrone a day sliding in her DM. So then obviously Sarah gonna think that she's a fucking 10. Just like you, Tyrone, think that you're a fucking 10. That's it. Supply and demand.
I heard a phrase before that a vagina has no face. Remember that. So Tyrone, desperate enough, he wants to get laid. He'll sleep with Sarah. And Sarah will get upset because she can't get a relationship from spreading her legs. And a lot of women are doing is they're sleeping with attractive men with their lives together. You men that are 8s, 9s, and 10s. And she's a 3 or 4. She's overweight. Bad attitude. Single mothers. So this 4 out of 10 woman, she's mad because she cannot get a 10 out of 10, you, or a 9 out of 10. She hasn't worked for anything much in her life. She hasn't accomplished.
You know what though? Like I kept thinking, right? I kept thinking about why is it so hard for African American men to actually get respect from women? You know? And then it's like, but when I hang around them, right, and I see certain behavior, like for example, right, I could be talking about boy, right? We're just having a conversation, shit like that, right? We're just lost in it. And then this motherfucker would sometimes stop in the middle of it just to obviously turn around to actually watch a girl's ass walking around. And I have to like, dude, come on, focus. We're talking here. And it's like the lack of respect, it is comes from the lack of focus, the lack of you too easy. Because men, we like to think of ourselves as the predator, you know, but in reality, we're nothing more but the prey. And when a lot of these African American men, right, and then they try to, I don't know, you want the pussy, but you also want the admiration that comes from actually fucking a girl, you know. And the thing about it though is like the only time you get the admiration is when you fucking. But once the sex stop, then you cannot get the respect in real life. It's kind of like if African American male were like a drug, they will be like a bad weed that you smoke it and then like five minutes later, the high is gone. So the potency is not strong enough. So then you would need to have a lot more of it in order for you to actually, that's why the only card that you truly have is your dick game. But when you have to compete with other men and other culture, you realize how far down you are. And it's not because about money, because you can actually compete with other male when it comes to finances. But when it comes to family matter, when it comes to actually keeping your bitch in check, you guys, like, you are so short down that list. I mean, you so low down that list when it comes to actually keeping. I'm not even talking about, let's say, whether it's a white girl, black girl, Puerto Rican, whatever your flavor is, right? Whatever your flavor is. But because your woman no longer admire you, so then you constantly have to jump from one chick to the next chick to the next chick. It's kind of like you're running away. You're running away from, as soon as you get that admiration, you know it's not gonna last long. So you move on to the next one, because before you get discovered that deep down you are shallow. Deep down, there's no tangible quality that's actually gonna, how should I put it, like, that's really gonna keep a woman grounded. It's the, the grounded, the like, when you put your foot down, when you say you're gonna do something, you mean it. When you, the dreams you're gonna, the goals you have to aspire, all this shit is like, when you don't have it, then women don't see you as leaders. They don't see you in this lead. They don't see you as a type of person that can lead, because your morals has so many flaws in them, and you refuse to actually, you try to overlook them. You try to bypass it, and then your morals is not strong enough to combat her emotional stage. So, which is why Tyrone is the same as Sarah. I don't know. I might go into more details into that, but I think that's long enough. And then I gotta go to sleep. Yo, Steven, awesome video. And I think I've checked out Darius' video a couple of times before, and I'm not 100% familiar with his work, but that was hilarious. That was a funny video and shit. So this is Art Banaka. Share, like, comment, subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace.